Okay, seventh graders, we are going to be moving on. And right now you're looking at my screen of my web page that I started creating, and this was back in lesson 7. You guys, I didn't do one for lesson 13, but that's probably where you guys would want to start, is with your lesson 13 web page, your personal web page that you guys did. What we're going to do now is we are going to create a multiple page web page, or multiple pages. And most websites, if you go to a link online, you're going to go to the home page, and then there's going to be links to click on that are going to take you to sub pages of that website. And that's what we're going to do. All right. Now, if you totally want to start with a whole new topic and start from scratch, you can. What I would recommend is to take, if you like what you did in lesson 13 for your personal web page, if you like what you did for that, then I would recommend you stick with that. And what we're going to do is we're going to break up your information and make it multiple pages. Okay, so we're not going to start doing any coding with our HTML or anything right now, but we're going to start planning. So mine's on running, and I kind of have it broken down into some marathons, 10Ks, 8Ks, 5Ks, and I thought of a couple other races I could actually add in here. So what the first thing, and what your assignment is going to be today and tomorrow, this is probably going to be our last assignment for the first quarter. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you this planning sheet, and it's going to kind of help us figure out how we want to break up our information that we have. Now, if you want to, again, start with a whole new topic, then this will help with that also, all right? So in lesson 13, you created your single page website, and we're going to use that, if you want, and turn it into multiple pages. All right, so I'm going to send this to you, and I'm going to probably add some more lines to this for you, because you guys are going to probably need more lines, but I was just thinking in terms of what I'm doing. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to start with the name of the page, because now what we're going to do is we have our index page, and right now that's where we have all of our information. Well, we're going to have the index page sort of be our home page, and then what are our other pages that we want? So for me, I'm going to start with my index page. It's going to be my main page with a picture and then links to the other pages. So this is kind of what you guys are going to do. What's your next page? All right, so if we look back at mine, I'm going to break it into pages like this. So running up here is going to be like my main page, and you can change this. You don't have to have exactly what you have right here, and I already know that I want to change a few things. But marathons is going to be my next page. So in my multiple page, I'm going to just put in the name of one of my pages is going to be marathons.html, and we'll talk about this and do some lessons so that we understand this. So what am I going to talk about on my marathons page? Well, I'm going to just do a quick blurb about what marathons are. I'm going to have a picture on there, and then I'm going to link it to my 3 marathon pages. So I've done 3 marathons. So the first one I did was the Twin Cities Marathon. So I'm just naming it Twin Cities. And when you're coming up with a name for your page, you want it to be significant, so you know what you're talking about on that page as you're creating your web page. Because what's going to happen is right now we have our index page and our style sheet, but as you add more pages, you're going to have marathon.html and whatever. So you're going to have all your pages are going to start adding up over here. And so the more descriptive you can be with your names, and just short, it just has to be short, but the more descriptive you can be, it'll help you as you're so you know where you're working. All right, so I'm going to do the Twin Cities page. I'm going to say where it is, what maybe my time was, and then a picture, and then I'm going to link that back to my very home page, and I'm going to link it to the marathon page. All right, and again, we'll talk more about linking and things like that, so you don't have to worry about that. Quad Cities was the next marathon I did. So again, where this is, my time, a picture, and then I'm going to link that back again to the home page, and I want to link it to the marathon page, and so on. So I got down to Chicago, and then I can keep adding stuff. So the next page that I want is going to be half marathons. So I'm going to type in halfmarathons.html. All right, so that's going to be something. So again, I'm going to put a blurb, and I'm going to go on. Now, if you need to add more lines, all you have to do is hit your tab key, and your tab key will add, this is a table that I inserted, and you guys should be able to add rows as needed. So some people might need more than others. And now what I'll probably do with my half marathons is I might talk about 2 of my half marathons. All right. And one of them was marianarts.html. Now I'm going to give you some requirements. You don't have to go into maybe this many pages, but what you're going to want to do is look back and see what's a page and then some sub pages, and I can help you with this. And I think once we do some lessons, and I'll try to get this created so you can kind of see how it looks. All right. So our assignment today is going to be to work on your planning. Now, after you kind of get your pages and what pages you want, you're going to come down here and we're going to, okay, what tags do you want to use? Well, I'm going to use a body. I'm going to have the body tag, obviously. So that's kind of our background. What's the main background you want? Your background color. Your paragraphs. What do you want your paragraphs to look like? I'm going to be using some short paragraphs. So I just use this as an example. I'm probably going to change this, but I want the text to be black, and I'm just going to use the normal font. But this is where you guys can put some information, so it flows. When you start making this, you can just start looking at this and going. For my headers, I want them to be dark green, and I'm going to have a different font for them. Over here, if I keep my lists, which I don't know if I'm going to or not, I could do my lists, and I could do, dark blue and another different kind of font style. Okay, I think there's cursive. All right, so this is just kind of where we work with our tags. You could even put image if you have an image, and then kind of, but that's going to be more over here. All right, so we won't worry about image. So there's where we kind of get some things planned. Then down here, we're going to use classes. Now remember, we just talked about classes in our last assignment. So if you haven't finished our last assignment, which I haven't had a chance to recheck, but the initial time I checked it, 7th hour, you guys did pretty good. 8th hour, there was a lot of you that had zeros and hadn't got that done yet. All right, but anyway, we're going to try to use classes. Remember, this is our style sheets, and this is where we can, rather than having a whole bunch of different things for your paragraphs and stuff, we can make these classes, and it just helps clean up our style sheet a little bit. Okay, and so here I'm going to have a marathon class, so I'm going to use that on my marathon page, and again, I just threw this together. I want a thick blue border and blue color for text, and then the 10K, I'm going to do this. And so and notice, remember our classes, it's a period and then the name. Okay, and I would just use lowercase. And I noticed that some of you were trying to use numbers, and I don't know that numbers are a good name. Sometimes they don't like you to use numbers. I don't know why, and so it doesn't work. And I noticed a couple people had numbers, and then I noticed that their styles hadn't worked correctly. So I don't know if that was the problem or not. So maybe try to stay away from numbers. So that's why I wrote out the word 10K rather than putting the number 10K there. So what kind of classes? And I'm not necessarily going to say you have to have 8 different class things. because you can still have some individual, like if just for your main heading, if you want to have a style for your main heading, you can do that versus having to use a class. But I am going to require that you do have a couple classes so that I know you know how to use them. So your goal today is to decide if you want to stick with your the web page that you created for lesson 13. Some of you may have to add some stuff, and others had quite a bit of information, and it's just going to be a matter of breaking it up and figuring out how you want it to look, okay? So watch this video and then work on just kind of planning out your multiple web pages, and then we'll be doing some assignments so we get familiar with how to do that.